I am neurodivergent, very much so. I am a cat person, not a huge fan of dogs. I am a writer and poet and artist, photographer, anything I can get my hands on, and I am ASU. I'm Zachary Knehr, and I am a creative writing major. Neurodivergent is basically the term for a whole bunch of things. The ones that most people know about are like ADHD, autism, dyslexia, that kind of thing. And it's basically when your brain is structured differently. I am actually the secretary of the Neurodiverse Club here at ASU, and the community is very cool. They're all extremely interesting people. The thing that I enjoy most about them is just the support in the community. I mean, there are different things around campus, like there's some activism stuff about changing the different accessibility parts, but a lot of it is just about having a community that you can be around and talk to, because don't get that a lot. I certainly didn't have it growing up whatsoever, because I didn't know about neurodivergency until I came here. So it definitely makes things easier. There's a solidarity in knowing that you aren't the only person who goes through those kinds of things. Like, I have Tourette syndrome, and I have for a few years now. And I had never met another person with Tourette syndrome until I came here, and it's relieving in a way to see someone else experience it, because then it's like, oh, I'm not some freak who's different from everyone else. It's like, oh, this is just a normal thing that makes me a little different. I grew up in a very limited sort of media environment, but I always had I was always shown by media and like sort of told by other people that people with autism and ADHD and those kinds of things were stupid, like low IQ. They can't exist as people, which is not true at all. I was born with hearing loss, so I need help in class, and it wasn't as big a deal in high school, but now the classrooms are bigger. People are wearing masks, so I can't lip read anymore. So I need, or I use a captioner in class who listens in on a Zoom call and types down everything that the teachers are saying, and I miss 90% of the words sometimes. It's like all of this is stuff that directly affects my life, and if it helps other people too, that's very good. I pretty much never saw any sort of representation for people with hearing loss or deaf people, and it's always, a lot of times it's romanticized in a way, where it's like, they're sort of written as characters where you want to have pity on them, or like they're special, or like they're only like talented or good at something or worth anything because they're disabled. It's all very unfortunate representation, because it's not for most people, and it's just a thing, and it's not, and it does affect our lives, but it's not the big deal that everyone else makes it out to be, and we just want to be included. I started out as a computer science major, and I hated it, and I switched after a month. But the final straw for me was when there was an engineering class where we had to get ready for an interview for some product thing we were making, and they said, oh, these are the like 5 things you cannot do in an interview. You can't fidget, and you can't stutter, and like neither of those things are things that I'm capable of. But I switched to creative writing. Computer science was always like the plan, but I've always loved writing. I first tried to write a novel in 5th grade because it's just what appeals to me, and I switched majors because I've been getting more and more into it, and it's something that I'm actually passionate about, and I do love programming, but I don't like engineering. And I have synesthesia, which is the like intermingling of senses. Like a lot of people would be, if every word has a color, or sometimes every person will have like a taste or a color, and it like ranges from a whole bunch, because you have so many different senses that can interact in different ways. But I use that in my writing and in my art. Like whenever I describe a scene, I try and describe it in a way that makes sense to me. And while I can't translate the actual feeling of synesthesia, if I can put it down into words properly, then everyone else can get a glimpse of that kind of world, and it makes the imagery very powerful. Communication is definitely the most important thing, because I can't say like ignore people's disabilities, or I I can't say like directly confront them and ask them questions about it, because it's different from person to person. Some people like talking about it. Like I am very happy to answer any questions, but some people are definitely not okay talking about it, which is also fine. I try to be understanding and communicate with them, and doing your own research is always helpful. If you notice someone, if someone has autism and they don't really like talking about it, research what it's like, or if someone's in a wheelchair or something more visible, then try and research what that is like, because if they don't want to talk about it, it's still good to know, because it affects so many people, especially here on campus.